Hi, it's Steve from PartSelect. Today we're going to show you how to change the ice actuator on your refrigerator. That's a really easy job. All we're going to need is a Phillips screwdriver and maybe a pair of needle nose pliers. Let me show you how we do it. Now before we begin this repair, since we will be working near some electrical circuits, we will want to disconnect the power to the refrigerator. So pull it out far enough that you can pull the plug. Next we're going to pull the little drip tray out from the dispenser area. It's just a friction fit, so pull it straight forward, disengage it, and pull it out of the way. Well, that will give us access to 3 Phillips screws that hold this escutcheon to the door panel. So we'll remove those 3 screws. Then next we'll just lift straight up on that escutcheon. It has a little clip edge across the top that engages across the top of the dispenser. So we'll then disconnect the wire harness and we can set that aside. Now next we'll remove 3 more Phillips screws that hold the assembly to the door panel. And we'll also need to pull the water line up through from the spout of the dispenser. And if you can't pull it out with your hand, just take a pair of needle nose pliers and just gently grasp that tubing and pull it straight up out of the opening. And we should be able to pull that assembly out enough at this point that we can disconnect the harness on the left-hand side. We can now take the assembly and set it on a suitable work surface where we can replace the part. Now with the dispenser assembly on a suitable work surface, we're going to begin by loosening the center screw that holds a flat retaining plate. We don't need to remove it, we'll just loosen it enough that we can pull the pin out from underneath of it. On the opposite side we'll completely remove that screw and the little retaining strap. At this point we can pivot that chute up and away from the opening, and then we should be able to pull it sideways to disengage it from the opposite side. We can discard the old assembly. Now when installing the new ice actuator, we're going to begin by putting this pin on the right hand side into that center clamp area first. And we'll slide it completely into the opening and we'll just tilt it enough that we can engage that pin, and then we'll tighten that screw to hold the plate tight against it. We next need to engage the flapper door with that ice actuator. So if you just tilt that door down enough that we can engage the top 2 pins on the ice actuator, need to come up above those ramps. So we can just bend that enough to hook that in on both sides. We'll lay that retaining strap in place. And install that screw. Those 2 pins need to sit on top of those ramps. At this point we should be able to depress the actuator, and you'll see that it should engage the switch in the center and hold the flapper door from springing free. Now we're ready to reinstall it in the refrigerator. Now when reassembling this dispenser assembly, then we'll reconnect the wire harness on the left side. We need to make sure that we get that water line down into the spout area so that it just protrudes below the opening. So we'll hold it up into place, and then with a pair of needle nose pliers, we'll guide that tubing into the opening. And then carefully push the assembly back into position. We may need to inch that tubing farther down into the opening. You can let it protrude below that spout at the beginning until we get it mounted in place, and then you can push it back up into position. We'll replace the 3 screws that hold the assembly in place. Now carefully push that tubing back up so that it's just about flush. Check the operation of both paddles. Make sure they're not binding. And then we can put the escutcheon back in place. We'll reconnect that 4-pin harness. Tuck that safely into the opening. And we just need to make sure that we engage these 3 hooks across the top with the 3 rectangular openings in the front panel. And then pull straight down. Install the 3 screws across the bottom. And we'll reinstall the drip tray. And it just snaps into place. Now we need to reconnect the power, and our repair is complete. I told you it was an easy job. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your repair.